Welcome, James Pijewski. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So everybody, James is at Youville Place, and this is an assisted living place in Massachusetts. It's just west of Boston, it looks like. I looked at a map earlier.
Yep, a little west of Boston.
Very cool. And we wanted to find out sort of just in general, like what's happening with senior dining? Like how are the grandmas and grandpas doing? Like they have made it through this far during this ongoing pandemic. Like how are they doing?
They're doing well. I mean, we've fully reopened the dining room after the vaccine and everything. So that was big. They were getting very tired of tray lines, so they're getting all pent up because dining is a huge part of their lives. So they've been very resilient. I know when the pandemic first happened, they're like, yeah, like we've seen it all. So they were. It was actually kind of refreshing to see them sort of handle it that way. But
Yeah.
it's they've been doing a lot better since the dining rooms reopened and they have programs and their happy hours and stuff. So
Oh
they've been
yeah,
doing
that's
great.
such a big part of living in a community like that. And it's really the meal times are the times to gather. And it's so awesome that they're able to be doing that again. And I saw that they have all sorts of programs there. I definitely did a little homework on Youville Place, and they have like art programs. And I saw that just recently your dining director did something like a talk about food with them.
Not too long ago. Yeah, I did like a little food talk. Then we do hold monthly food chats
Okay.
about just kind of what's going on, things they might want to see. We try not to have it be just if they have complaints, but sort of like, oh, hey, like you want to see this on the menu, and so we
Okay.
get a lot of good feedback that way too. But yeah, I think the programs are great. We do a lot of sort of joint programs with the programs department and dining. Like we'll like do happy hours where we kind of do creative snacks and stuff, and so it's wonderful.
That's cool. That definitely is. And many of the residents are allowed to have alcohol, right?
Yep, yeah, we serve beer and wine every dinner, and then we have different events. We used to do a couple more, but I think it's just the weekly happy hour events where they do beer, wine, then they do like mixed drinks and cocktails and stuff. So
Nice.
it's awesome. So they love it, and we love doing it.
Yes. I mean, because a lot of people like to have their drink, and I think that's important.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we do cut them off. I think at one mixed drink or two wines, and they want to keep going. So it's nice to see that sort of energy.
Yeah, same. I want to keep going too. I
Right?
thought having
Yeah,
that same amount.
yeah.
That is cool though. And it's good to hear that people are getting back to it. So what have been like some culinary successes that you've had since the last time we talked?
So since last time we talked, I think we've just really been just improving the overall quality of food. We've been doing more things sort of from scratch in house, which I really like. It's always a process to keep going in that direction. Obviously there's been like supply issues that everyone's been reading about, and so
Right.
assisted living is the exact same. It's like a different thing every week. Like last week I couldn't find like kidney beans like anywhere, so I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not going to be using kidney beans next week. But
Yeah.
you improvise and things like that, and you just kind of find creative ways to get it done.
Yeah, substituting stuff. We're seeing that a lot, like in the K through 12 world too. They are coming up with like whole new menu items on the fly. Like I mean, you got to be really nimble at this point. What were the kidney beans for? Were you trying to make chili?
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah, I was trying to make like a chili, like actually a three bean vegetarian chili. So when
Oh,
that's a third of the beans gone. So I'm like, all right.
neat.
So
It doesn't sound.
yeah, no, it doesn't sound right. So I put some navy beans in there and I kind of made it work. And
That's
but I wanted the red kidney beans, but everyone liked
exactly.
it still. So
That's good. That's good. Yeah, and I have a chili story. My next food feature is about chili, so I've been getting all kinds of cool ideas coming in and thinking about different chilies. Is there a regional chili like around Boston that everybody likes? I mean, because I know in Texas they don't like the beans, but Boston
Mhm.
is also known as Bean Town. So
Right.
you guys love beans.
I think it's just a pretty standard chili that we like around here. I know people who don't like beans, they want to go for the Texas chili, but and I've noticed turkey chili's been pretty big. I just think recently, in the last few years, with people trying to eat a little healthier and stuff. So
Yeah, because I think you're not really tasting that much of the beef anyway. It's like you may as well use some of that bland ground turkey and then flavor it
yeah,
with all the
e-
chilies.
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the stuff you want to use ground turkey with is when you're like using all these different intense flavors, and so
For sure. And before we recorded, you had mentioned that it's a beautiful day in the Massachusetts area. It's also is in Cleveland. It's crisp fall. So
yeah, oh yeah.
are you going to be getting into butternut squash, soup season, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of like squash, apples, pumpkins, stuff like that. So,
I love it.
um, yeah, yeah. The residents love it too. We're doing like the more heartier, savory dishes. A lot of stews, things like that. And,
It's just the cozy time. And I spoke with some chefs at the Mayo Clinic in Minneapolis. And both of them were like originally from the Caribbean and they were transplants to this very cold area. And they were like, we actually, it was like a secret. They're like, we actually don't like all the fall food. They're like, we don't like pumpkin spice. We don't want to do this crap. So there is like a fatigue of it too. And like with the long winters that we have here in the Midwest, it's like I get to a point where I'm like, I'm so tired of butternut squash. And it's sad. That's usually like around March though. So it's
right. Yeah. The tail ends. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of the same way. I'm not really super into like the shepherd's pies, the beef stews. Like I know some people they're like, oh, there's nothing better than like a nice shepherd's pie, and I'm like,
it's
eh,
kind of heavy.
um,
It's kind of
yeah,
like you're really ready to just sort of lay down and die after you eat that.
right, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your early life, like when you first were becoming a chef. Like what are some like if you're looking back like at your career thus far, like where you're at now, like how's it different? How's it similar from where you started?
Um, so it's sometimes I look back, I'm like, wow, like I'm proud of myself, made this far, sort of kind of want to keep going.
Mhm.
I try not to get too wrapped up in like, what do I want to do in, 5 years, because like it's changing so often, I
Uh,
kind of go with the flow and see
yeah.
what's out there and everything. But I've always liked cooking as a kid. Like my dad's a great cook, so I always wanted him to. I think the first thing he taught me how to make was scrambled eggs, and I was like, yes, I felt like a chef then at like 8 years old. So
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, so and then I got my first job was actually waiting tables at an assisted living home. My brother worked there as wait staff. He got me there, and I wanted to work my way up, and I went wait staff, washed dishes, and then I wanted to really cook. And I'll admit, when I first started cooking there, I didn't have a lot of direction, so I wasn't the best. So yeah, so then we got a new director there. He helped a lot, show me some things, and I think what really helped me was I got my first restaurant job, which was a small mom and pop restaurant, just the town over Shirley. Piccolino's, fantastic place if you're ever in the area. Great food, um, and they showed me a lot there, just about the industry, just sort of everything like that. Like everything was fresh. Um, but where I was at for the assisted living, like a lot of the food wasn't fresh. So that's sort of where I got that idea where it's like, well, why can't we do fresh food like here? And
Yeah.
so I think after that point, like for the like past 5 years, I've just really like started focusing on homemade recipes and stuff like that. So
Very cool. And I'm sure the residents appreciate that too. It's like something that is made with love, with from scratch, for
yeah,
sure.
they do. They really do, which is, sort of you have the integrity aspect of it. Like, you know what, I know this is not something I opened out of a can. So like, they're really getting something good. And then when you tell them too, they're like, oh, that's homemade, and they're like really impressed by it. So
Yeah.
that also feels nice.
That's cool. And you're doing it with a pretty small staff. You've got like a few people in the back of the house with you. And I also just learned that you're also kind of supervising the front of the house too. So tell us a little bit about that, the challenge of that.
Yeah, so obviously my heart's with the food. I love the food aspect of it. That's why I do it. But I do like to look at the overall like dining experience people have, and
Mhm.
so I guess the challenge is splitting my time enough to make sure that both areas are getting enough attention. Like I said, we are supposed to have like a dining front of house manager. Haven't had one of those in a little while, so it's been a little challenging, but we have a lot of wait staff who've been there for a while, so they're really good about just kind of keeping it steady and rolling with change and stuff.
That's
I
cool.
mean, yeah, I've got some new dishware in, like ice cream dishes, sort of like trendier dessert plates and
Okay.
stuff. So then all you have to do is like, hey, this is what we're serving this on now. And they're like, cool, got it. And
Mhm.
then it's
No
so
big
that's
deal.
kind of cool.
They take
Yeah.
care of business. I love it. Yeah, yeah. And speaking of ice cream, I haven't been working on this much lately, but I'm sure I told you about it before, but I just have this theory, something about ice cream and senior dining and the way that it's nostalgia for them. It's soft, it's
Yeah.
sweet, which they say is maybe one of like the last tastes that you hold on to as your taste buds age. But there's
Right.
something more to it. And I've always been trying to uncover that because like many senior citizens in my personal life have had like this obsession with ice cream. The older they get, they're like, where's the ice cream? When are
Yeah.
we getting it? I need to make sure it's in my freezer. So what do you think?
They love ice cream.
They
Ice cream and cookies. It's, you could put on like a beautiful carrot cake and people are like, yeah, yeah, it's good, but they'll either be like, I want ice cream with it, or they'll be like, can I have some cookies to go to my room? And it's like, that's a lot of sweets. But I'm like, yeah, like of course. And but they love it. We have I think 10 flavors always available, 8 or 10 flavors always available.
Oh yeah.
And it's they rotate and stuff, and but we go through a lot of ice cream, summer and winter. I mean, we're doing the winter menus now, and we still have I think a couple specialty ice creams that we do as like the dessert of the day. So like
Oh,
we have like a pumpkin ice cream and like apple pie, and they
oh, I
they
love
love it though.
yeah.
Yeah. Me too. So
I know. We should go live there for sure.
right, yeah.
And just helping the people just sort of have something that they like and get something, but also nutritionally, like you're working with these folks to get some veggies in there and do things like that of that nature too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's just because even for little kids, it's like working with the K through 12 market. That's the biggest problem. Like in college, I will talk to a dietitian and they're like, we can't get people to eat vegetables. So it's
It's
everybody
tough.
everybody would always
Yeah.
rather have ice cream. So that's that's what every single like nutritionist is up against. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even making the menus too. It's you want to try to make the healthier the vegetable option, like as good as the other option, but like you put like a meatloaf sandwich on with like caramelized onions, cheese sauce, and like a spicy ketchup, and then you put like roasted vegetable wrap. It's kind of like
yes.
who's gonna the meatloaf sandwich is gonna win
I
out, but
know, I know. So I think you've got to get the sauces and the cheeses and the rich fatty stuff onto vegetables. So, and that's easier for vegetarian rather than vegan, but
yes, yeah.
you got to make it like luxurious like that. And there's generational stuff too. I think we still kind of are in the era of most people want meat and potatoes. And definitely, in different regions of the country, but a lot of senior dining, they're pretty much like, yes, that's what they like. They like the meat and potatoes. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's that's you obviously have to keep that stuff on there, like
yeah.
the Salisbury steak, meatloaf,
Oh my gosh,
things
they
like
love
that.
Salisbury steak. They had that
Oh,
at when I was in grade school, when they would have grandparents' day, you could bring your grandparents in, and they always had Salisbury steak
yeah.
that
Oh,
day.
they love it. They think you're like a culinary mastermind for that, and um,
It's like that's
but
that generation's comfort food, and it still kind of is. I mean, because it's been a long time since I was in grade school, but they still like it. The Salisbury steak has endured.
Yep,
But
it,
maybe
it really is.
maybe when today's college kids are in senior dining, everybody will have to have chicken fingers, I think, with ranch.
R- Yeah, exactly. I always think about that too, sort of like, huh, I wonder what's gonna like be
I
big,
know.
when we're, when we're there, and it's, I mean, yeah, chicken tenders, that's a big one. Trying to think what else. I mean, maybe it's just chicken tenders, but like
Pizza,
cheeseburgers,
yeah,
like people love stuff like that.
I think so, definitely. So cool. All right. Well, I feel as if I just could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And you are now officially a chef's to watch, which means we'll be keeping an eye on you and um, just making sure that everything's okay. And we're going to be,
Safety checks, perfect.
yes, exactly. So very cool. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.